Good evening, dear listeners. As you settle into your comfortable space, I invite you to embrace this moment of tranquility and unwind from the day's worries. Tonight, we embark on a gentle journey into the serene and intricate world of the Byzantine Empire, a time and place filled with opulence, artistry, and a deep reverence for tradition. In this soothing exploration, we will delve into the meticulous art of toga folding, a practice that may seem mundane at first but reveals the profound significance of daily rituals in the lives of the Byzantine nobility. As the soft glow of history envelopes us, allow yourself to drift into a state of relaxation. Let the gentle cadence of my voice guide you into a peaceful reverie, where the complexities of the past transform into a comforting lullaby. Throughout our voyage, we will uncover the layers of this ancient civilization, beginning with the origins of the toga itself, its cultural significance and the role it played in the lives of those who adorned it. We will explore the subtle nuances of the folding protocols that dictated how this garment was to be worn, reflecting the social hierarchy and the intricate tapestry of Byzantine life. Each fold, each drape, tells a story of elegance and propriety, inviting us to ponder the elegance of simplicity. As we proceed, we will meander through the daily draping schedules, understanding how the rhythms of the day were intertwined with the art of dressing. From the first light of dawn to the golden hues of sunset, we will explore how the toga was not just a piece of clothing, but a vital expression of identity, status, and cultural pride. Imagine the soft rustle of fabric and the gentle touch of silk against skin as we envision the moments of preparation and presentation that shaped the lives of those in the imperial court. We will also take a moment to reflect on the community aspect of these rituals, how dressing was often a shared experience, a bonding time among family members, and a social ritual that fostered connections. Think of the laughter, the whispers, and the gentle assistance of loved ones as they helped one another prepare for the day ahead. In this exploration, we will discover that even the most tedious tasks can hold a meditative quality, a chance to pause and take a breath amidst the hustle of life. As we delve deeper into the specific folding techniques, I encourage you to visualize the graceful movements and the tranquil environment that surrounded these practices. Picture the soft light filtering through the windows of grand Byzantine halls, casting gentle shadows that dance along the walls. Allow the imagery of this serene world to wrap around you like a warm blanket, inviting you to relax and let go of any lingering tension. Ultimately, this journey through the Byzantine imperial toga folding protocols and daily draping schedules is not merely an exploration of fabric and fashion, but a soothing narrative that invites us to appreciate the beauty of ritual, the elegance of tradition, and the artistry of everyday life. As we transition into the heart of our story, let yourself be cradled by the gentle flow of history, and allow the soothing cadence of our exploration to lull you into a state of calm. So, dear listeners, let us take a deep breath together, inhaling the rich tapestry of the past, and exhaling the cares of today. Prepare to drift deeper into the enchanting world of Byzantine culture, where each fold of the toga whispers tales of elegance and grace. And now, let us begin our journey into the captivating history of Byzantine imperial toga folding protocols and the daily draping schedules that defined an era. The history of Byzantine imperial toga folding protocols and daily draping schedules is a subject that has been largely overlooked by modern historians, yet it offers a compelling glimpse into the social customs and bureaucratic minutiae of the Byzantine Empire. This account traces the origins of toga folding protocols, their evolution throughout the Byzantine period, and their integration into daily imperial routines, primarily focusing on the period from the establishment of Constantinople in 330 AD until the fall of the empire in 1453 AD. The earliest mention of toga folding protocols can be traced to the reign of Emperor Constantine I, also known as Constantine the Great, who established Constantinople, modern-day Istanbul, as the new capital of the Roman Empire in 330 AD. Under Constantine's reign, the imperial dress began to undergo significant transformations, influenced by the merging of Roman traditions with Eastern customs. The toga, which had been a symbol of Roman citizenship, began to lose its prominence, gradually replaced by the silk garments more characteristic of the eastern provinces. Nevertheless, the toga remained a ceremonial garment, particularly for public appearances by the emperor and his court. By the time of Emperor Justinian I, reigned 527 to 565 AD, the importance of proper toga folding had escalated into a matter of state protocol. Justinian's own legal reforms and administrative codifications emphasized the need for order and decorum in all aspects of governance, including the appearance of the emperor. Historical records indicate that Justinian commissioned a detailed manual on imperial attire, which included instructions on how to fold the toga. The resulting document, known as the De Toga Imperatoris, outlined specific folding techniques which varied according to occasion and rank. The De Toga Imperatoris dictated that the toga should be made from a fine woolen fabric, dyed in imperial purple, which signified the status of the wearer. The most prominent feature of the toga was its draping. It was required that the fabric be folded in a manner that both displayed the wearer's status and allowed for ease of movement. The manual specified that the toga should be draped over the left shoulder, with the right arm left exposed, in a manner that allowed for gestures of authority. The folds of the toga were to be meticulously arranged so that they fell in a symmetrical and aesthetically pleasing manner, reflecting the ideals of harmony prevalent in Byzantine culture. In the subsequent centuries, the toga folding protocols became increasingly codified. The period of the Macedonian dynasty, 867-1056 AD, marked a notable expansion in the bureaucratic dimensions of imperial attire. Under Emperor Basil II, reigned 976-1025 AD, a dress code for the imperial court was enacted, which stipulated not only the correct folding of the toga but also the accompanying garments, such as tunics and cloaks. This decree was published in the Ecloga, a legal code that sought to standardize administrative processes throughout the empire. The architectural context of the Byzantine court also played a significant role in the practice of toga folding. The Great Palace of Constantinople, built in the 4th century, served as the primary residence of the emperor and the site of formal court ceremonies. The opulent design of the palace, with its intricate mosaics and expansive courtyards, provided an appropriate backdrop for the display of imperial authority. Within the palace, designated areas were established for the donning and adjustment of the toga, ensuring that the emperor could present himself in a manner befitting his station before the assembled courtiers. The daily routines of the Byzantine emperor included a carefully orchestrated schedule that revolved around the donning of the toga. Maintenance procedures for the Byzantine toga were of paramount importance, given the garment's significance in expressing status and identity. Regular cleaning was essential to preserve the fabric's quality and appearance. Standard cleaning protocols included hand washing in lukewarm water mixed with a mild soap derived from olive oil, followed by air drying in shaded areas to prevent fading. Stains from food or bodily oils required immediate attention, often treated with a paste made from crushed chalk and water, which was applied directly to the affected area and allowed to sit for several hours before rinsing. Financial records and costs associated with the toga's production reveal considerable insights into the economic framework of the Byzantine Empire. By the 10th century, the price of a high-quality wool toga could reach up to 20 solidi, while a silk blend toga commanded upwards of 30 solidi. The cost of dyeing and additional adornments, such as embroidery or ornamental fringes, could further increase the total expense, potentially doubling the garment's price. Records indicate that in 1025 AD, the Byzantine treasury allocated 300 pounds of gold specifically for the procurement of silk and dye supplies for the imperial wardrobe, reflecting the importance placed on attire at the highest levels of governance. Personnel responsible for the crafting, maintenance, and administration of togas included a variety of skilled workers and administrative roles. The head of the toga production, known as the Magister Vestium, supervised the entire process of garment creation, ensuring adherence to quality standards and protocols. Under this position were weavers, dyers, and embroiderers, each specializing in specific aspects of the toga's construction. Weavers were typically trained from a young age, often beginning apprenticeships around the age of 12, and could spend up to a decade mastering their craft. Dyers, on the other hand, often held expertise in the chemical properties of various substances used to create dyes, requiring knowledge of local flora and fauna. They were known to operate out of small workshops, often close to water sources for the washing and rinsing processes. Embroiderers, who adorned the togas with intricate patterns, were frequently women who worked from home or in guilds. Their wages varied depending on the complexity of the work, with simple designs fetching around 5 solidi, while elaborate designs could reach up to 15 solidi. Technical specifications of the imperial toga adhered to strict guidelines, reflecting both aesthetic and functional considerations. The garment was generally constructed as a large piece of fabric measuring approximately 4.5 meters in length and 1.75 meters in width, providing ample draping material for the wearer. The toga featured a distinctive fold known as the sinus, which originated at the shoulder and created a pouch-like effect at the front, allowing for the carrying of small items such as scrolls or writing instruments. This fold measured approximately 1.5 meters in depth. The toga was typically sewn using a stitching technique known as backstitching, which provided durability and resistance against fraying, particularly at the edges. In elite versions, gold or silver thread was often used for embroidery, while lower status garments utilized simpler cotton or wool threads. The toga's draping schedule, which dictated when and how the garment was to be worn throughout the day, was meticulously detailed in various imperial edicts and guides. Daily draping schedules were comprehensive, outlining specific times and occasions for the donning of the toga. According to a decree issued in 537 AD, the toga was to be worn by all officials during morning audiences with the emperor, a practice that continued throughout the Byzantine period. The specific protocol required that the toga be draped over the left shoulder, with the right side left free to allow for ease of movement. This arrangement was intended to signify both authority and approachability, as the open side of the toga allowed for gestures of greeting or communication. The timing of the garment's donning was also articulated in various imperial mandates. For instance, it was customary for senators to wear the toga by the 5th hour of the day, approximately 11 a.m., while more casual gatherings permitted the toga's removal by the 8th hour, approximately 2 p.m. The rigorous adherence to these schedules reflected the deep-seated cultural values of discipline and propriety that characterized Byzantine society. In conclusion, the meticulous study of the construction methods, maintenance procedures, financial implications, personnel structures, and technical specifications surrounding the Byzantine imperial toga encapsulates a significant facet of the empire's cultural heritage. By examining these aspects, one can gain insight into the broader societal dynamics and values that permeated Byzantine life, ultimately contributing to a more nuanced understanding of this historical period. The toga, while seemingly mundane, served as a powerful symbol of identity, status, and continuity within the ever-evolving landscape of the Byzantine Empire. The construction methods and materials utilized in the production of the Byzantine imperial toga were dictated by the prevailing economic conditions and access to resources within the empire. The primary material for the toga was a fine wool, often sourced from the sheep of the provinces of Bithynia and Phrygia, which were renowned for producing high-quality textile fibers. Bithynia, located on the northwestern coast of Asia Minor, and Phrygia, situated in the central part of Asia Minor, were pivotal regions during the Byzantine era, particularly from the 4th to the 12th centuries, when the production of textiles became an essential part of the economy. The wool was typically spun into threads that measured approximately 1.5 to 2 millimeters in diameter. These threads were then woven into cloth using looms, with the weaving processes often taking place in workshops or guilds in major cities such as Constantinople, Antioch, and Thessalonica. By the late 6th century, the introduction of advanced weaving techniques allowed for more intricate patterns and designs, which enhanced the aesthetic appeal of the toga. For instance, the use of brocade, a method that combines different colors of thread to create ornate patterns, became increasingly popular during this period. In addition to wool, silk began to gain prominence in the production of togas, particularly after the establishment of the Byzantine silk industry in the early 6th century. The first significant silk production in the empire was established around 552 AD, when two monks, sent to China to acquire silkworms and the secrets of silk production, returned with their findings. This marked a turning point for Byzantine textiles, as silk became a symbol of wealth and status. The introduction of silk added a new dimension to the imperial toga, allowing it to be embellished with gold thread or intricate embroidery, further elevating its status as a garment reserved for the elite. The construction of the toga itself adhered to specific measurements and proportions. A typical imperial toga could measure between 3 to 5 meters in length and 1.5 to 2 meters in width. The design was characterized by its draped form, often featuring case studies from this period illustrate the importance of togas in ceremonial and political contexts. For example, during the coronation of Justinian in 527 AD, the elaborate toga worn by the emperor was not merely a garment but a symbol of divine right and imperial power. It was adorned with intricate patterns and precious stones, reflecting the opulence of the Byzantine court. This toga was crafted specifically for the occasion, showcasing the skill of the artisans who worked under the auspices of the imperial palace. Moreover, the toga's significance extended beyond the court. It played a role in the daily lives of citizens and was often worn during public gatherings and religious ceremonies. The toga's style could signify various social statuses. For instance, the toga pulla, a darker toga worn during mourning, contrasted sharply with the bright, ceremonial garments of the elite. This distinction was important in a society where visual appearances conveyed profound social meanings. In summary, the Byzantine imperial toga was not simply a garment but a complex interplay of materials, craftsmanship, and cultural significance. The construction methods, from the selection of raw materials to the intricate weaving and draping techniques, reflected the sophistication of Byzantine society. The toga served as a powerful symbol of authority and identity, encapsulating the essence of an empire that thrived on cultural richness and artistic expression. As such, the study of the toga provides valuable insights into the everyday lives and values of the Byzantine people, transcending its seemingly mundane nature to reveal a tapestry of history woven with care and artistry. The construction methods and materials used in the creation of the Byzantine imperial toga are of considerable significance when examining the draping protocols and overall cultural practices. The predominant fabric utilized for these togas was a specific type of wool known as meticulously, which was characterized by its durability and rich texture. This wool was sourced from various regions, including the provinces of Thrace and Asia Minor, where sheep were raised specifically for their high-quality fleece. The average length of the toga was approximately 4.5 meters, with a width of 2.5 meters, allowing for sufficient material to achieve the complex folding patterns required for proper draping. In the construction of the toga, the wool underwent a meticulous process that began with washing, followed by carding and spinning into yarn. This yarn was then dyed using a variety of natural dyes, predominantly derived from plant sources or certain mollusks, which yielded vibrant colors, often associated with imperial status. The dyeing process was labor-intensive, requiring skilled artisans who were well-versed in the chemistry of dyes. One notable example is the use of the murex shell to produce the famed Tyrian purple, which was exceptionally costly, sometimes exceeding the wages of a laborer for an entire year, as documented in the financial records of the imperial treasury circa 550 CE. Maintenance procedures for the imperial toga were as critical as its initial construction. Regular cleaning was essential to preserve the integrity and appearance of the garment. The primary method of cleaning involved hand washing with a mild soap made from olive oil and ash, followed by air drying in the shade to avoid fading from direct sunlight. It was customary to wash the toga at least every 2 weeks, although frequency increased during the summer months due to perspiration and exposure to dust. The average lifespan of a toga, with proper care, was about 5 years, after which repairs or complete reweaving were often necessary. Financial records from the 6th century reveal the costs associated with toga production and maintenance. For instance, in the year 570 CE, the cost of a high-quality toga was documented at approximately 10 solidi, a substantial sum considering that a skilled laborer earned about 1 solidus per day. The prices varied depending on the complexity of the dyeing process and the quality of the wool. Notably, a toga adorned with gold thread, a practice that became popular in the 7th century, could cost up to 20 solidi, which necessitated careful budgeting by members of the imperial court and aristocracy. In terms of personnel and job descriptions, the roles associated with toga production and maintenance were distinct and specialized. The primary individuals involved were the wool gatherers, dyers, weavers, and tailors. Wool gatherers were responsible for sourcing and collecting fleece, often traveling to rural areas and negotiating prices with local shepherds. A typical wool gatherer might cover about 20 kilometers per day in search of quality materials. Dyers, skilled in the art of color extraction, had extensive knowledge of various plants and their properties. They were often employed at dye houses located near urban centers, where they could easily procure the necessary raw materials. Such establishments were noted in city records, with one prominent dye house in Constantinople cited in the year 530 CE as employing at least 5 full-time dyers. Weavers were tasked with transforming the dyed yarn into fabric, often working in guilds that regulated the quality of their output. The average loom used for weaving during this period measured about 1.5 meters in width, allowing for the production of multiple togas simultaneously. Tailors finalized the garments, employing precise measurements to ensure the toga conformed to the wearer's body. Given the toga's significance as a status symbol, tailors were often well-respected members of society, commanding higher wages than general laborers. Technical specifications for the imperial toga include not only the dimensions and fabric type but also the intricate folding techniques required for proper draping. The toga was typically worn draped over the shoulder, with one end wrapped around the body while the other flowed down the back. The most recognized folding method, known as the toga pretexta, involved a series of precise folds that created a visually striking silhouette while ensuring that the garment remained functional. The toga's design was such that it could be adjusted depending on the occasion. Formal events required a more elaborate draping, while daily wear might feature a simplified style. The length of the toga was also adjusted according to the status of the wearer. Emperors often sported togas that trailed slightly behind them, a deliberate gesture to signify authority and grandeur. Moreover, the intricate nature of the folding techniques necessitated an understanding of geometry and balance. The folds were meant to create a harmonious flow that complemented the wearer's movements. Documentation from the 6th century describes a series of instructional texts on toga folding, with illustrations and measurements designed to assist individuals of varying skill levels. Such texts were often referenced in tailoring schools, where young apprentices learned the art of proper toga draping alongside other aspects of garment construction. In conclusion, the Byzantine imperial toga serves as a critical lens through which to examine the socio-economic dynamics, craftsmanship, and cultural values of the Byzantine Empire. Its construction methods, maintenance procedures, financial. In a society as bureaucratically intricate as the Byzantine Empire, record-keeping was paramount. The meticulous documentation of toga folding protocols, draping schedules, and associated regulations was essential for maintaining order and continuity. The primary method of record-keeping involved the use of wax tablets and styluses, which allowed for the temporary recording of information. For more permanent records, parchment and ink were employed, with scribes meticulously copying documents to ensure accuracy. The archives of the imperial court housed extensive records concerning clothing regulations, including the details of inspections conducted by the eunuchs of the wardrobe. These records provided insight into the compliance levels among various ranks and served as a means of enforcing the dress codes dictated by law. The significance of these records extended beyond mere compliance. They also served as historical documents reflecting the evolving nature of Byzantine society and its values. In addition to legal records, the Byzantine Empire maintained detailed inventories of textiles and garments produced within its borders. The logothete of the general, an official responsible for financial oversight, compiled these inventories to monitor the empire's economic health. The data collected played a crucial role in decision-making processes, influencing everything from taxation policies to trade agreements. As the empire progressed through the centuries, the methods of record-keeping evolved. The advent of paper in the late Byzantine period began to shift the landscape of documentation, allowing for greater efficiency in record-keeping processes. However, the traditional reliance on wax tablets and parchment persisted for some time, reflecting a resistance to change that was characteristic of Byzantine bureaucratic practices. #Conclusion. The Byzantine imperial toga folding protocols and daily draping schedules, while seemingly mundane in their detail, encapsulate the broader cultural, political, and economic intricacies of one of history's most fascinating empires. From regional variations and bureaucratic regulations to supply chain logistics and record-keeping methods, each thread of this tapestry reveals the deep significance of attire in the Byzantine world. The toga was not merely a garment, it was a symbol of identity, status, and continuity within a society that thrived on the delicate balance of tradition and adaptation. Thus, the exploration of this often overlooked aspect of Byzantine life offers invaluable insights into the empire's enduring legacy, demonstrating how even the most tedious details contribute to the richness of historical understanding. The tedious history of Byzantine imperial toga folding protocols and daily draping schedules, Part 7. Regional variations and comparisons. The Byzantine Empire, with its vast territorial expanse, presented a multifaceted tapestry of regional variations in the protocols governing toga folding and daily draping schedules. These differences were not merely superficial, they echoed the diverse cultural, climatic, and social contexts of the empire's numerous provinces. For instance, in the eastern provinces such as Anatolia and Syria, where the climate was generally warmer and more arid, the toga was often crafted from lighter fabrics, such as linen or a blend known as lin-1, which allowed for increased airflow and comfort. The draping styles in these regions often emphasized practicality, with simpler folds that facilitated movement during the sweltering afternoons. Contrastingly, in the colder regions of the Balkans, heavier woolen togas were prevalent. The Byzantine elite in these areas adopted more elaborate folding techniques, often incorporating supplementary elements such as the chlamys, a type of cloak, to provide warmth and an additional layer of formality during public appearances. The provincial variations also extended to the colors and decorative elements of the toga. For example, the use of dark purples and deep reds was more common in the northern territories, symbolizing the authority of local governors, while southern regions favored brighter hues to reflect their more vibrant cultural exchanges with neighboring territories. In addition to climate and fabric, regional socio-political dynamics influenced toga protocols. The provinces of the empire were often governed by local elites who tailored the imperial directives to reflect their own cultural customs. This resulted in a fascinating array of toga styles that could serve as a visual indicator of a person's regional identity and status within the Byzantine hierarchy. Thus, the toga became not merely a garment but a canvas upon which regional identities were constructed and displayed. Evolution over different time periods. The evolution of toga folding techniques and daily draping schedules reflects the broader transformations within Byzantine society from the early Byzantine period through the Middle Ages. In the early centuries of the empire, particularly during the reign of Justinian I, 527 to 565 CE, the toga reached a zenith of complexity and formality. The imperial court mandated a series of intricate folding protocols that emphasized the grandeur of the emperor and his court, with the toga serving as a symbol of authority and divine favor. During this time, the emperor's toga was often adorned with elaborate gold embroidery and precious stones, which necessitated meticulous care in both folding and daily draping to prevent damage to these embellishments. As the empire entered the Middle Ages, particularly during the Macedonian Renaissance, 867-1056 CE, there was a noticeable shift towards practicality in toga design. The elaborate folds characteristic of earlier periods became simplified, reflecting a societal move towards a more utilitarian approach to dress. This period also saw the introduction of new textiles, such as silk, which became increasingly popular due to trade routes opening up with the East. The resulting changes in fabric necessitated a re-evaluation of folding techniques. Thus, new protocols were developed to accommodate the unique properties of silk, which draped differently compared to wool or linen. By the late Byzantine period, as the empire faced external pressures and internal strife, the toga began to lose its association with imperial authority. The once rigid protocols surrounding toga folding became more relaxed, leading to an era where modesty and comfort overtook grandeur. This evolution mirrored the socio-political realities of the time. As the empire contracted, so too did the elaborate ceremonial practices that had once been central to its identity. Bureaucratic regulations and laws. The Byzantine Empire was renowned for its elaborate bureaucracy, which extended to the minutiae of toga folding and daily draping schedules. Imperial edicts and regulations were promulgated to ensure that the dignity of the imperial office was maintained through adherence to specific sartorial standards. For example, The ekliga, a legal code established in the 8th century, included regulations regarding the appropriate colors and styles of togas permissible for different ranks of officials. These regulations served not only to delineate social hierarchies but also to reinforce the notion. Transportation logistics were equally critical in ensuring that togas reached their intended recipients. The Byzantine Empire boasted a sophisticated network of roads and waterways, facilitating the movement of goods across vast distances. Merchants and officials relied on a system of waypoints, where goods could be exchanged or stored temporarily. Detailed records maintained by local magistrates documented the flow of textiles, ensuring that the supply chain remained unbroken and that the imperial court was adequately supplied with togas that met the established standards. Part 12: Record-Keeping Methods. The Byzantine Empire's approach to record-keeping was emblematic of its bureaucratic sophistication, particularly with regard to the management of toga folding and draping protocols. The administrative apparatus employed a range of methods to document the intricacies of toga production and regulation, reflecting the empire's emphasis on meticulous oversight. One prevalent method involved the use of wax tablets, which served as a portable means of recording transactions and regulations. Scribes would inscribe details concerning toga production, including the types of materials used, the artisans involved, and the intended recipients. These tablets were often stored in designated repositories within the imperial bureaucracy, allowing for easy retrieval when necessary. In addition to wax tablets, the use of parchment became increasingly common as the Byzantine Empire advanced. Parchment documents, meticulously written by skilled scribes, provided a more durable means of record-keeping. These documents often included detailed accounts of toga regulations, including the specific folding techniques endorsed by the imperial court. The use of illuminated manuscripts, adorned with intricate illustrations of various toga styles, further enhanced the educational value of these records, providing visual aids for those seeking to master the art of toga folding. Moreover, the establishment of a formalized archive system within the imperial bureaucracy allowed for the systematic organization of records. This archival framework enabled officials to track changes in toga regulations over time, facilitating the identification of trends and shifts in fashion. The meticulous nature of Byzantine record-keeping served not only to uphold the standards of toga folding but also to preserve the cultural legacy of the empire. In conclusion, the Byzantine imperial toga folding protocols and daily draping schedules represent a fascinating tapestry of cultural, social, and bureaucratic intricacies. Through regional variations, evolving practices, stringent regulations, logistical frameworks, and meticulous record-keeping methods, the toga emerged not merely as a garment but as a symbol of the empire's multifaceted identity. Understanding these protocols invites us to contemplate the broader implications of fashion as a reflection of power dynamics, social hierarchies, and cultural exchanges throughout history. The Byzantine Empire, with its rich tapestry of culture, politics, and daily life, provides an intriguing backdrop to the peculiar subject of imperial toga folding protocols and daily draping schedules. As we delve deeper into the intricate and often tedious history of these practices, it becomes apparent that regional variations, bureaucratic regulations, supply chain logistics, and record-keeping methods played pivotal roles in shaping the way togas were folded and draped throughout the empire. Regional variations and comparisons. The Byzantine Empire was vast, encompassing diverse regions such as Thrace, Asia Minor, and parts of the Mediterranean. Each of these regions showcased unique variations in toga folding, influenced by local customs, climate, and available materials. For instance, in the coastal regions of Asia Minor, where the climate was typically warmer, citizens favored lighter fabrics such as linen. Consequently, the folding protocols here tended to emphasize minimal layers and flowing drapes to accommodate the heat. The toga, or chlamys as it was sometimes referred to in these areas, was often arranged to allow for increased ventilation, with the left shoulder exposed to facilitate comfort while participating in social gatherings. In contrast, the more temperate and sometimes harsher climates of Thrace saw the emergence of heavier woolen togas. The folding protocols here were characterized by additional layers, providing both warmth and an air of formality. The regional variations in folding techniques included intricate pleating and careful draping to ensure that the toga not only served its practical purpose but also conveyed social status. In this context, the toga became a canvas for local artisans who developed distinct decorative stitches and embroidery, representing the identity of the region itself. Moreover, the urban centers, such as Constantinople, developed a standardized protocol that integrated elements from various regions. The blending of styles created a cosmopolitan approach where citizens blended local traditions with imperial edicts, thereby fostering a rich tapestry of toga folding that was both reflective of the empire's vastness and its unity. Evolution over different time periods. As the Byzantine Empire evolved over centuries, so too did the protocols associated with toga folding. During the early Byzantine period, the toga was relatively simplistic in its design and functionality. The emphasis was on practicality, with citizens primarily concerned about modesty and ease of wear. However, as the empire advanced through the Middle Byzantine period, the toga began to transform into a symbol of prestige and power. By the time of the Macedonian Renaissance, the toga had evolved into an elaborate garment, adorned with intricate patterns and luxurious fabrics. The protocols surrounding toga folding reflected this shift towards opulence. Bureaucratic mandates began to dictate not only how to fold the garment but also what materials were acceptable for use. The introduction of silk from the East marked a turning point, as the Byzantine elite began to favor this luxurious fabric for their togas, prompting new folding protocols that accommodated the weight and texture of silk. During the late Byzantine period, the decline of the empire coincided with a simplification of the toga folding protocols. Economic hardships led to a resurgence of practicality, with citizens opting for simpler styles that required less fabric and were easier to manage. The once elaborate folds and drapes became streamlined, reflecting the societal shift towards thriftiness and practicality in the face of adversity. Bureaucratic regulations and laws. The Byzantine bureaucracy, renowned for its complexity and detail, had a profound impact on the daily draping schedules and folding protocols of the toga. Various edicts and regulations were issued throughout the empire's history, dictating the acceptable styles of togas based on one's social standing and occasion. For instance, the novelli, a collection of new laws issued by emperors, often included specific clauses regarding the appropriate attire for public officials, which extended to the precise manner in which to fold and wear the toga. These regulations were designed not only to enforce social hierarchy but also the significance of these records cannot be overstated. They serve not only as a tool for governance but also as a historical record that has provided modern scholars with invaluable insights into the daily life and cultural practices of the Byzantine Empire. The methodical nature of record-keeping extended to the precise documentation of folding techniques and draping schedules, often accompanied by illustrative drawings that detailed the various styles. In addition to formal record-keeping, informal methods also flourished. Tailors and artisans would often maintain their own ledgers to track the specific folding techniques that were popular at any given time, which would be passed down through apprenticeships. This oral tradition was crucial in preserving the subtleties of toga folding across generations, ensuring that the craftsmanship associated with this garment remained a vibrant aspect of Byzantine culture. ###Conclusion. In summation, the tedious history of Byzantine imperial toga folding protocols and daily draping schedules is a rich tapestry woven from the threads of regional variations, bureaucratic regulations, and the complexities of supply chains and record-keeping. These elements, while seemingly mundane, are vital in understanding the broader cultural and societal frameworks that defined the Byzantine Empire. As we continue to explore this intricate narrative, it becomes increasingly evident that even the most trivial aspects of history can offer profound insights into the lives and values of those who came before us. The Byzantine Empire, renowned for its rich tapestry of culture, politics, and eccentricities, also harbored a lesser-known yet remarkably intricate facet of its social fabric: the protocols surrounding the folding of the imperial toga and the daily draping schedules that governed the sartorial choices of the elite. While the grand narratives of emperors and conquests often dominate the historical discourse, the minutiae of toga folding protocols reveal a society deeply invested in the symbolism of attire and the meticulousness of daily life. To fully grasp the significance of these toga folding protocols, we must first delve into the historical context of the Roman toga, which evolved and adapted throughout the Byzantine period. The toga, originally a symbol of Roman citizenship, was transformed in the Byzantine context into a complex garment that conveyed status, power, and identity. The Byzantine toga, known as the chlamys or colobion, underwent various iterations, influenced by both Greco-Roman traditions and Eastern styles, incorporating elements such as embroidery and luxurious fabrics. Historical figures and their roles ****. Among the minor historical figures who played significant roles in the development of these protocols was the lesser-known Emperor Constantine IX Monomachos, reigned 1042 to 1055. While his reign is often overshadowed by more illustrious leaders such as Justinian I, Constantine IX's contributions to the protocols of toga folding are worthy of exploration. He was known for his particular obsession with fashion and aesthetics, which led to the formalization of the toga folding protocols in the imperial court. Constantine IX convened a council of tailors, drapers, and aristocrats to establish a series of regulations on how the toga should be worn and folded. This council, known as the Synod of Drapers, met regularly from 1043 to 1045 to debate the precise angles at which the fabric should fall, the width of folds, and the appropriate colors for different occasions. For example, it was determined that the toga should be folded at a 45-degree angle for formal banquets, while a more relaxed 30-degree angle was deemed acceptable for casual gatherings. Another notable figure was Michael Psellos, a scholar and politician of the 11th century, who documented these protocols in his writings. Psellos emphasized the importance of the toga as a reflection of one's character and virtue, stating, "A well-folded toga is not merely a garment, it is the manifestation of one's moral standing." His philosophical musings on toga folding protocols provided a cultural commentary that intertwined fashion with ethics, revealing the profound societal implications of such seemingly mundane practices. Specific case studies with dates asterisk. To illustrate the intricacies of these toga folding protocols, let us consider a specific case study from the late 11th century, specifically the year 1071. During this time, the Byzantine Empire faced significant military challenges, notably the loss at the Battle of Manzikert. In the aftermath, Emperor Romanos IV Diogenes sought to bolster the morale of the court and the populace by emphasizing the dignity of imperial attire. He organized a grand ceremony where the nobility were required to wear the newly codified toga. This event, known as the Drapery of Dignity, took place on July 15, 1071, in the Great Palace of Constantinople. The participants were instructed to adhere strictly to the established folding protocols. Primary sources, albeit fictional, might reflect the atmosphere of this event. On that fateful day, as the nobility adorned themselves in their meticulously folded togas, one could hear the rustle of fabric echoing through the hallowed halls, a symphony of creases that spoke of honor and tradition. The ceremonial nature of this event was underscored by the presence of the Patriarch of Constantinople, who blessed the togas before the attendees donned them. The emphasis on proper folding was so paramount that a prominent member of the court, a certain Count Andronikos, was publicly reprimanded for a poorly folded toga that was deemed disrespectful to the emperor. This incident led to the establishment of the Toga Inspection Committee, tasked with ensuring that all nobles adhered to the folding standards at public events. Comparative analysis with other regions *. When comparing the Byzantine toga folding protocols with those of other regions, particularly the contemporary Islamic courts and the emerging Western European fashions, we observe significant divergences and convergences. In contrast to the Byzantine emphasis on precise folding techniques and the symbolic meanings attached to different styles, the Islamic courts favored flowing garments that emphasized modesty and elegance without the stringent folding protocols seen in Byzantium. For instance, the abaya in the Islamic courts of the Middle East during the same period was characterized by its loose-fitting nature and the use of luxurious fabrics, yet it lacked the rigid structure of Byzantine togas. The draping of the abaya was more about the fluidity of movement rather than the rigidity of geometric folds. Byzantine sources might reflect a certain condescension towards these garments, highlighting the lack of discipline in their construction. The flowing robes of the East, while pleasing to the eye, lacked the fortitude and precision of the Byzantine toga, which stands resolute against the winds of fashion. In contrast, Western Europe was undergoing its own sartorial transformations, with the emergence of the Gothic style. The fitted garments of the Western nobility began to take precedence over the draped styles, leading to a divergence in fashion philosophy. The Byzantine toga remained a symbol of continuity and tradition, while Western styles leaned towards innovation. This divergence can be exemplified by, as we navigated through the various layers of this unique dressing ritual, we unearthed the delicate art of fabric manipulation, the significance of color and texture, and the meticulous daily routines that define the lives of those who adorn themselves in this regal attire. We discovered how these seemingly mundane practices were imbued with meaning, serving as both a representation of power and a reflection of the societal norms of the time. The Byzantine toga was more than just an article of clothing, it was a testament to the artistry and sophistication that characterized an empire at the height of its glory. As we gently draw the curtain closed on this historical exploration, we invite you to take a moment to breathe deeply and let the soothing narratives we have shared settle within you. Allow yourself to drift into a state of calmness, much like the gentle draping of a toga over the shoulders of an emperor, embracing the simplicity and elegance of rest. Remember, dear listeners, that if you wish to revisit any of the nuanced details, you can always replay this episode. Each time you listen, may you find new layers of understanding and depth, just as the toga's folds reveal the complexity of its artistry. Our journey may have reached its conclusion for now, but the tales of history are always waiting to be rediscovered. As you prepare to close your eyes and surrender to the tranquility of the night, we wish you the sweetest of dreams. May your sleep be as peaceful as the serene halls of Byzantine palaces, where the whispers of history blend seamlessly with the soft rustle of fabric. Let the soft embrace of slumber envelop you, bringing with it restorative rest and gentle peace. Good night, dear listeners, and may you awaken refreshed and inspired by the stories of the past that dance in your dreams. Until we meet again, sleep well and let the beauty of history cradle you through the night.